I feel like there's ground here that Republicans could really reach out and try to get some common ground with some of this, some of these moderate Democrats on this. But for the student loan debacle, I mean, even I was kind of shocked to even see CNN in a piece that came out just yesterday say that they said that, quote, relieving up to $20,000 in student debt per borrower is a financial tourniquet. They said, but it doesn't even begin to solve the problem. Once the debt is wiped away, you're left with the gnarly reality that tuition costs are out of control with no magic bullet to rein them in, which is kind of a weird analogy that you're a weird way of speaking with that, but okay. Yes, because it is only a brief relief for people. It doesn't address the problem at all, which we've talked about last week, the federalization of student loans and the way that the government manages it and the way that universities have responded. Did you realize for every dollar the government makes available in student loans, universities increase their fees by 60 cents on the dollar? That's from a CBO and an older CBO analysis and the Penn Wharton that came out last week. You have these, higher education, they have these massive endowments. They don't have to deal with any of the tax costs associated with any of those. This is a massive bailout. And the problem that it creates is that it's going to get even more expensive. And this debt is just going to, they said, I think it's in under 4 years, all the debt's going to be reaccrued again. No one's asking, well, why? They're gonna demand for another bailout. The reason is they cannot cut off that funding spigot to the left. Higher education spends so much money in political donations, Biden got how many millions? 20 something, 24, 25 million dollars. And they donate to almost exclusively Democrats. Democrats don't want to do anything to change that. It's a great way to launder money. How is this any different than what they did in Ozark? For real, let's be real. How in the world? What? Because it's tonier? Because it's in some four-year universities? Y'all be honest. How is this any different with the money laundering they were doing in Ozark? It's not. That's the big thing. It's not. You have taxpayers that the government decides to take over the student loan program and administer federal student loans themselves. Everybody gets, it's like they're throwing them out like Mardi Gras beads. Everybody gets one. And in turn, people go and they sign up for loans that they can't, either they can't meet the terms or they don't want to meet the terms. Colleges, they want that money. Yes, come on, we'll increase our prices. We'll make tuition ridiculous because it has grown, it's outpaced inflation. What do they say? Cost in the past 10 years, 12 years, like 50-something% increase? Insane amounts. And it rewards, because it's so easy to get. You don't have to, I mean, honestly, I kind of wonder if it impedes the scholarships and, other things, because you have to ask, why is it so much easier to get a student loan that ends up, people start out their lives in debt than it is to get a home loan? This is Dodd-Frank for college, for universities. That's what this is. Carol Roth had a really good point when she said, you have to look at this. What return on investment are you getting? Because if you're not able to get a job with the degree that you have and you have all this debt, isn't that a university making you a promise that it didn't fulfill? I mean, I think that's a great question. Nothing in the proposal for this addresses any of those issues. If they were really serious about remedying this issue, they would have broken this cycle, and they haven't done it. We will be back here, except there will be more debt within 4 years. Actually, under 4 years worth. Let me pull this up. Cost analysis. According to two things that I have, will be, one was the Penn Wharton thing. The Penn Wharton study that was released on Thursday or Friday. Yeah, we will be back here in under 4 years. And people are still going to go, and they're still going to be taking out these loans, and the government's still going to control them. Since the government took it out, since the government federalized this back in 2011, that's when you can measure, that's when everything skyrocketed. The Penn Wharton cost analysis, their model and analysts showed that the student loan forgiveness, the bailout, you're looking at $1 trillion. Because of all of the dynamic issues that have to be addressed. They said that they look at the $519 billion of the quote unquote reallotment. I'm not calling it cancellation. 75% of the benefit accruing to households making X amount. Loan forbearance, that's another $16 billion. The new income-driven repayment, that's another $70 billion. That brings it up to $605 billion. That's under very strict lowest common denominator static assumptions. And then depending on the future IDR program details, they said the total plan could easily exceed $1 trillion. And it will. It's not an if, it's a when. I mean, $1 trillion. That was the Congressional Budget Office's estimate 10-year cost of Obamacare. The student loan thing is only for 13% of Americans. That should offend even a far left individual.